Well, shit. All right. Well, I guess this is a good time to cut into what I got for the week. And boy, has it been a long week. I don't know what's the best way to go into it.
So what was it? Tuesday or Monday morning? Tuesday morning. I wake up and I have text messages from his brother.
Yeah.
Chris.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the text message says,
We have one brother. My bad.
the text message says, hey, I don't know if Mikhail talked to you about this, but it looks like our dad doesn't have. Okay, so he says I don't know if Mikhail has talked to you about this, but XYZ sends me some screenshots.
XYZ. What do you mean?
Because I want you to like.
Well, you're already in it. Just say it.
Just say it, dude.
Yeah,
Just say it.
you're
So
doing it.
Chris's chat says, I don't know if Mikhail saw my message, but wanted him to see because it looks like our dad doesn't have much time left from pancreatic cancer. He randomly got a text from their dad's wife.
So she knows now.
And so the message from the wife is the screenshot that he sent that he sent to me and to him. And the screenshot says, hello, Chris, this is Alice's wife. I wanted you to know that he hasn't forgotten about you and your brother. He has told me and his kids about you. He was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer last year and may not have much time left. I just wanted you to know you are not forgotten. And Chris responds to her, hi, Alice. I want to thank you for directly telling me this since I had a feeling something was off. But I'm glad he could finally unload that to his strength and support system. I was at a point where I was going to come to you guys, letting you in on what he has told me since he had been burying the secret so long, and I didn't know if he knew how to tell you. Do you have an actual time frame given? Because I would want to see him soon. So I wake up to that 5:30 in the morning, and all I respond to Chris is, oh wow, I'll talk to him, to Mikhail. Because I wasn't sure what he was expecting to get from me out of it. It's not really my situation. I'm gonna support him, Mikhail, in whatever he's feeling, whatever he wants to do in this situation.
Yeah.
So I text him and I'm like, hey, Chris sent me this message, just want to let you know if you want to talk to me about it. Here I am, and he's like, I'm fine, just
I'll pick it up, I guess, from there.
Yeah. I don't want to speak for you when you're sitting right here.
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, that was the introduction to that kind of news. And
did you know about it before Lindsay told you? Did Chris tell you?
I got the message from Chris.
Okay.
And by the time that he had gotten home to me after work, he had already responded and talked to Chris.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I got that message, I kind of didn't even know what to say. I guess realizing that his wife reached out to Chris revealed that, he had told someone. And I don't know, my initial emotions was just this is bullshit. All of it's bullshit. The way that he told everybody is bullshit, the fact that he waited until he was dying to tell someone about, I don't know what his biggest secrets are. I would imagine we're one of them. And
yeah, I think that 2 human beings is a pretty big fucking secret.
Right.
That's crazy.
Right. So to me, that the fact that you're about to die. To my understanding, he has a few weeks to a few months left. He's about to get put in the hospice as we speak.
So it was like stage 4 pancreatic cancer, I'm assuming.
Apparently, he looks really bad. And I just felt like it was just bullshit. It was unfair. It's unfair that he unloaded all that on his family while he was also announcing that he has cancer. Come to find out, he made his rounds to let all of his family members know, not only am I dying, but I'm also
confessing that I have.
Yeah, confessing to this. And, on the bright side, the reception, we were, at least what Chris has relayed to me, was that everyone wasn't, nobody was upset or, they were pretty, I don't know if excited is like the thing, but, that was
welcoming.
Good. It was welcome news.
They've all been very welcoming.
But the thing that upsets me is you did that. Like, how is it? Of course, that's going to be good news. You're telling people you're about to die. So you're dying. You're going around. You're telling people that you don't have much time to live. You're giving people this heartbreaking news. In the same time, you're giving people this like, oh well. Also, by the way, I also have this. What do you expect to happen? Like people, nobody's gonna hold you accountable for anything because they know you're gonna die. And to me, that's a whole summary of this whole experience, I guess. Is there's
and then
accountability
to expect them to ask them to come and see him while he's
not even get there yet. And so the whole experience to me has been summed up as one big unaccountable person. He loses contact with his kids, and this is something that's still developing. I actually have details I can add to that as of today. But before I get into that, he loses contact with his kids. So he pretty much disappears. He no longer tries to keep in contact. Even if the mother of your children tell you can't see the kids, is not a valid excuse for you to still not try to see your kids.
Yeah, no, it's not.
So that, boom, unaccountable. Boom, wipe your hands clean. You didn't have to do that. And then you get in contact with one of the children.
And let's be clear, this isn't like... It's not like Mikhail is the product of a one-night stand. Mikhail's dad was around long enough to make 2 children.
Sure, me and my brother.
So not only does he know Mikhail exists,
he knows they're a couple years apart too, right?
3 whole years apart.
Yeah.
So
he's he was around.
No, yeah. He was
so
around.
I mean, it's not like he can say, "Well, I didn't know about you guys," or like, and Mikhail has a one person name. There's only one person named Mikhail Farias.
Sure.
Period.
Easy to find.
Yeah. So anywho,
I know
continue.
Mikhail, but yeah.
So my little brother reaches out to him for whatever reason. He has always felt compelled to reach out to this man. Mm-hmm. He
became a father himself and felt like he needed to then reach out to his own father, in his growth as a father, and that's understandable. I can understand, people have a desire to understand where they're coming from, right? But Mikhail never had that desire.
Sure. Yeah. He, for whatever reason, was always, always a deep desire of his to get to know who that person was. Whereas for me, maybe because I, was the oldest and kind of got settled into like independence a lot younger, I kind of came to that understanding that there wasn't anyone that was ever going to come, quote unquote, save you from that fatherless life. I just got comfortable with the fact that just wasn't in the cards for me, Yeah. And for healthy or unhealthy reasons, I became okay with that, and that want or yearn just kind of died and calloused over. And I could have gone my whole life and been totally fine with never meeting him or seeing him, and that would have been totally okay for me. So
you never felt like you were missing
No, which I made clear on other episodes. But to hear this, where I'm at with it, other than the fact that I think this is bullshit, um, I'm weirdly okay. Um, I feel bad for my little brother. My little brother is very upset about all this, which upsets me. Um, but and then the layers of upset with that, like I don't get why he's upset about it. Like I equate it to someone who maybe dumps their dog out of their car to try to ditch it, and you're chasing behind. The dog is chasing the car. They're trying to get rid of you. They don't want you. Yet you're trying to be into
God,
something.
that's like the saddest
Trying to
analogy
plug yourself
ever.
into
And
somewhere where
that's my equivalent to it, and I these past few days I've been very candid and honest with my brother, and kind of told him, like, you're totally just giving him an out. The fact that you are so
But I mean, really, it's almost like the death of a stranger. You don't know this person. So, like,
me, yeah.
how is it going? Like, when he dies, nothing's going to change for you.
No, well, no,
Right? Like, so that's like, why get involved now when he has a couple weeks to live? Why invest the emotion into going to meet this guy, go sit at his deathbed? That's crazy. That's wild to me.
So I tried to have my brother see why I felt that way, and because he seemed very surprised that I wasn't very
Receptive.
upset about the whole.
yeah, upset. It didn't bother me the same way it bothered him, and I gave him my perspective just on life in general. Like I told him, like I got pretty independent from a very young age. You know what I mean? Like for whatever reason, like I got comfortable like that, and to this day I'm
Right.
okay with that. I don't
Right.
necessarily find myself missing out on a dad or anything like that, but it does kind of upset me to an extent to see you chase after someone who doesn't want you. We met this person, and I was very open to, like, hey, I want you around, or I'd be very open for you to be around after this dinner. This went great. You're an awesome guy, but the ball is totally in your court if you want to continue to be in my life. And what happened? I never saw him again. I haven't seen him
Yeah,
since.
you definitely threw him a lifeline and he didn't take it.
Yeah.
Disappointing, right? And for me, like, cool, I get it. I didn't have my hopes up that high. Yeah,
I think what I'm getting from what you're saying is you're upset that
Chris is upset.
you're upset that Chris is upset, but you're also upset that he doesn't see it the way you do. Maybe Chris had a lot of hope into one day being able to have an open relationship with his biological father and his other family,
he did.
And now all that's coming to an end. And yes, to him, the silver lining in this whole situation is finally I get to meet, my other brothers and sisters, because he came clean. Yes, pretty crappy way of doing it, right? Because now, like you said, no accountability. Like, I'm dying from pancreatic cancer. By the way, I have other children.
Yeah.
Would you guys like to meet them?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, kind of softening up that blow.
I understand you 100%.
That's what I think is bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that, and I understand why you're upset.
Yeah.
And
100%.
I feel like you have every right to be upset because of that, because it is a very cowardly move.
Yeah, that's how I sum it up.
I understand that, but I also understand where Chris is coming from.
Yeah, I think both can be right. I think Chris can feel
You know what I'm saying?
how he
And,
feels. And I think
Agreed.
Mikhail can also feel how he feels.
but I don't think Chris takes anything away from Mikhail
No, not at all.
for wanting to still, be kind of take that opportunity
Yeah.
and meet, his other family at the same time. You guys are different people.
Yeah,
Although you guys are brother, you guys
100%.
have different views on life and, different opinions, and you guys are absolutely entitled to your own opinions and thoughts. And so, but yeah, man, I don't think I get how naturally you'd be upset because like how can you like really love this man, or how can you really like, you know, forgive him or be so lenient on him
Yeah,
and give
how
him an
can you
out,
easily
you know what I'm
look
saying?
past
Yeah.
that?
When he didn't want you.
Right.
Because that's how you view it.
That is, yeah.
That's how you view it. Those are your feelings, but
Yeah. I don't take necessarily like offense
Right.
to anything. I just, I see him hurting, and I'm trying to kind of like point out, like, you shouldn't be hurting like that for this. And, I know he can't help it. Totally fine. But, he
he is.
no, yeah, he is,
He
and,
is, and you know,
I know deep down he's very, sad. He admitted, he's been like, he's been crying on and off about it. He's been, just, all over the place emotionally about it. You know what I mean? Like he hoped this would turn out differently, and, he's never going to get that chance to
Have a
have
relationship
that.
with his father.
At least not the way he was hoping,
Yeah.
I pointed out, silver lining. We did mention, or at least I'll mention, he went to go visit him. And he met the wife for the first time. I guess there was a couple friends there visiting him.
is she white?
No.
Asian, I think. Asian.
She's like Filipino.
Yeah, and another sidebar, something that's really upsetting about it was he's in San Diego all the time.
He's at Grossmont Hospital.
Every weekend he's here in San Diego doing something. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
opportunities.
How many opportunities did he miss to hang out, to get to know me or Chris, my family, we and his family? Yeah, maybe he might in the end unite, bridge that, but he's never going to be able to see it now. And we're never going to be able to see that with him. So it's kind of like,
But you are
it's shitty.
Too
Like
little,
that's-
too late.
right.
Yeah, it's shitty.
And you are
it's a
willing
shitty
to
thing,
meet
you
your family, your extended family.
What happened?
You are willing to meet them if
To an extent.
Right.
I don't know, I'm still gathering my whole feelings on it, and I'm still, trying to figure out like what do I want long term when it comes to something like that. Just because that's such a heavy thing, you know what I mean? Like it's I don't know, like it's a hard thing to kind of like get comfortable with the idea with when it was something that was never my idea.
I think it was really big of you, and I think it took a lot from you to give him the benefit of the doubt when you finally met him and you guys went out to dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, you allowed him to be himself.
And
Yeah.
you
He showed you who he
opened
is.
up.
Right.
You gave him, like I said earlier, you threw a lifeline. You gave him an opening. And
Very direct.
You were very willing, and you were very receptive to whatever he wanted to continue after that dinner. And like you said, the ball was in your court. I am more than open to the idea of you coming around, getting to know your grandsons, getting to know us. But as long as it's,
I wanted to see it.
you wanted to see the effort.
Yeah, I
on
just
his
wanted
part.
to see it.
And after 30 something years, I don't think some people would be that open to having their biological father come around and be a part of their family. But you gave him that opening, and the fact that he didn't take it, I can only assume just kind of angered you more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now you're at the point where like, you son of a bitch, you're dying now, and what
Now
now?
you want to tell the
What
world about me.
now?
Now you want to tell people about us.
And the fact is, you do it when you're going to
I feel
die.
you, man.
You're
Yeah.
doing it only. I'm translating in my head. You're only doing it because you're dying. You would have never done it any other way,
Yeah.
right? So how is that okay for me and Chris
Asian.
to be it like introduced to the family in this way? Like, to me, it comes off super ingenuine.
Right.
And like, I was telling her yesterday, like, this is such a failure on, like, to me, just adulting in general. Shit is hard in life, especially like, as parents or whatever. We have to deal with so many hard things.
Yeah.
And what I could only imagine, like, if that's how he deals with like hard shit in his life, is to just like avoid it, pretend like it doesn't exist, never hold yourself accountable, live with yourself up until the point that you have cancer, to say something like this. I could only imagine the kind of dad he was anyway.
Right.
Probably wasn't something that was going to benefit me in the long term as it is, because I don't respect that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we've said it before, you know, like being a good dad is a great sign of a good person. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that, you know, we've all related to. And that was something we all have made it a point to be really good at, you know?
Yeah.
And to me, for mine to be like such a failure in this way, you know, it sucks, you know? And I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I ever want to meet that side of my family. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, but you know,
I think a part of you is worried that you might be disappointed with them,
maybe,
just like you were with him.
maybe
I don't
They
think
could be
that
completely opposite of him.
they might be,
Yeah.
they might be. I just
They-
don't know if I'm ready to accept that.
right.
You know, and you know, part of this whole timeline, you know, my mom reached out and she tried to convince me to go and see him, and you know, I was pretty adamant, like I really don't want to go. Like, this wasn't something I ever wanted to do.
Yeah.
And now, because Chris is gonna put himself into this, I don't necessarily feel like I'm obligated to put myself into it. I never asked for this, and I don't feel like I need to be there for something that's gonna potentially upset me further. I don't want to be around death. I don't want to be around death of a person that I lost so much time with.
Yeah.
I don't, you know, I just don't want to have to get to that place mentally and accept that, or come to, you know what I mean? It's just such a heavy thing to try to throw on someone and then just like show up for that. I couldn't get myself to do that. So, you know, I told my little brother, hey, bro, I just can't go. And he was totally understanding. You know, this was more for him than anything. He obviously wants me to be there. And he thanked me for even being open to like hearing him out and like letting him vent to me about it, since we share this experience, you know, just us two. You know, you know, just more for backstory. My mom and you know, my dad Jesse, they met while working at Thousand Trails, heading towards Julian, and he had an affair on and off. My mom just, you know, just comes out. She made the decision to remove herself from being around him. And that's tough. You know, I forgive her. Also not fair. But I get it. You know, we're adults. We don't know what we don't know. You know, she had no idea, you know, what effects could happen long term, but she basically, you know, she basically said she didn't want him to be involved in something that could potentially hurt, you know, the marriage that he's in.
Yeah, what seemed fair for one family was really unfair for another.
Right. So she made that decision to move. And you know, it, yeah, it's shitty. I get she was trying to protect her family or herself, but also him. But it's one of those things where the kids are there to kind of figure it out. You just don't know any long-term effects that may have on people.
She was doing what she thought was right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, oh man, I kind of figured, I assumed that, if he was already married with kids, some that are older than me, and she happened to move, and obviously if you wanted that person around, you're going to let them know, like, hey, I'm moving here, just so you know, you can come visit them here. Well, obviously, like, there had to have been some friction. He's there one day, next day he's not. So it's kind of like, I kind of figured, but actually hearing it, it's kind of like, oh, fuck, it's like that's how it actually played out. But yeah, so I guess I find myself a little bit guilty that I don't feel bad about him passing away,
But you don't have to.
I know I don't, but like it just is one of those things where it's just like I don't, they mentioned that I might regret it one day by not going to go visit him or say anything last minute things to him. I don't know if I necessarily have anything last minute I have to say to him.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably don't.
I don't. I really don't.
And if you did, is it like, would it be like good things to say? You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
it honestly wouldn't,
right.
just 'cause
And
it's-
is that going to be conducive to this man on his deathbed? You know what I mean? Like,
right? Yeah.
so, I mean, there's two sides of it for sure. And I think that for him to put this on, essentially on you guys now, because he's only got a couple weeks, and now it's dependent on you guys to do the heavy lifting of like
mending, whatever.
Yeah. Like, what did
know?
it, so
And-
I think you're allowed to feel however you want to feel. And I think that if you don't want to go, you don't owe anybody any explanation.
Right.
Yeah,
bro. I don't think you. I think your thought process along this is. I've agreed with all of it so
Right.
far.
I mean,
don't
like,
see-
I almost
I
feel
get
like it would be like, what's shittier? Like a dad who did drugs and wasn't ever around, or a dad who knew you were there and was supposedly a good dad to his other kids? Like, which is worse? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. I just just try to process everything and try to like try to see long term like what would probably make the most sense to do. And right now it's pretty easy to say like I don't necessarily know if I want to get that side of the family, but in all realization, if everything goes well and they do, obviously I'm sure my little brother will be in there first, meeting someone. If it all goes well, would it be the right thing for me to close myself off to people that had nothing to really do with the situation? I don't know if that's necessarily fair.
Right.
If they genuinely want to get to know me.
but you grew up, like you said, pretty isolated. You weren't necessarily like taught to be like emotionally intelligent. It's
Sure.
not like you guys were like having kumbaya talks, in your
yeah.
household or whatever. But like you learned how to deal with things on your own
Right.
without anybody else's like kind of, it'll be okay, like.
Right.
So I think that that's okay because we all handle things differently. And if you want to handle it alone, essentially and not put yourself in that situation, then that's up to you.
Look, I understand and I believe your reservations are valid. I really do.
Yeah.
I can't say I necessarily agree with how you're thinking about you know, dealing with the situation. And this is just my personal opinion. Because I feel like at the end of the day, you're still going to be around and he's not, right? So he's going to pass on. He has nothing to carry with him anymore on his conscience or guilt. I think the fact that you feel some sort of guilt for maybe being this disconnected from the situation and not allowing yourself to feel any kind of remorse or feel bad for him is a sign that there is something there in your heart telling you you should probably more so go to get closure for you, not for him. Not that, and I don't know if you feel like you may need some closure, but just seeing how emotional you got right there, that to me is a clear indication that there is something that you're still holding on to that you may need to,
and by
you may need to address for you, you know, even if you have to tell the man, hey, F you for what you did.
right. Even
F
if
you
you got to
for not
walk
being
in there
there.
and just big middle finger, you know, like
Right.
Although, you know, and I think obviously like
I think,
once you get that off your chest or you just unload, because I feel like you're carrying this heavy burden, man. And I feel like you're carrying it for both you and Chris. You are the older brother. You were the one that maybe subconsciously felt like you needed to be the tougher one, the more emotionally mature one,
Yeah,
and not let yourself feel this because we don't need it. I got to be here for my brother. I got to be strong for my brother. And Chris, being the younger brother, he's just more like, I love my big brother, but I also wondered what if.
Yeah.
I also wondered what if my entire life, and now that what if is a reality, and it's not a what if anymore. It's a when, when and where, and yes, you know, whatever, you know, because in that message, I wasn't sure what Chris was referring to in the part where he said, because I wasn't gonna come to you if he didn't. Like, I wasn't sure if he meant like Chris knew about the pancreatic cancer before, or he knew he was talking about the secret.
He didn't know about the pancreatic cancer, but because Chris has like been trying to get involved, he has a need to get in touch with his Black family. Like, that's something he wants to like learn and understand about, especially medically. Like, Chris is very concerned about his health and what could be genetic,
not knowing that he's dealing with pancreatic cancer,
right? Yeah. So I don't remember where I was going with that, but
Look,
I
don't want to like do the thing where I put my relation to it to take away from what you're saying, but I feel like I kind of can relate. I met my birth mom at 17. She chose drugs over me, so it's always gonna be fuck you for me. I don't care. We have met. I don't have a relationship with her. If I was to find out she's dying, like I see her at Christmas every year because I go to my grandma's, and I have a relationship with that side of the family. I have a relationship with my grandma, but I already knew my grandma prior to me finding out because she was the attendance lady at the high school.
Right.
That goes into like my whole backstory. But like when I met my birth mom, like when I went through that, I met you, it was cool. You still were doing the same shit that caused you to lose me.
Right.
So it'll always be fuck you to me.
Right.
I don't hate you. I don't have a relationship with you. So if I find out that she's gonna die, something like that, I don't feel like I want to go say goodbye. I don't need. I have no relationship with you. You want to have a relationship? Fine now. Like, I don't know. And maybe I'm just unhealed. Maybe we are both unhealed and we don't know how to manage that. But I'm
So-
agreeing with your.
I think the
point of
part
view.
that
No.
part that got me emotional, I think, was just my mom's role in this.
Yeah,
And
that's what I was gonna say too.
And
you
like
know.
the hard work that your mom put into raising you guys, and like
Well,
really,
no, she did great. All that was great. The part that just hurts is the making the choice for us to remove him from us, and that's to me what was like fuck. That's the shit that was just like fuck.
Yeah, you got taken that opportunity from you
Right,
without you having any kind of say in it.
right, and the whole
So,
time
yeah,
I
that
put the
does
blame
suck.
on him,
Yeah, because maybe he could have been a good dad. Maybe he could have, right? But
and just finding out, she has a role in it. Obviously, I'm not, I don't necessarily I'm not like upset at her or anything, but it's sad. Like it sucks that that was taken away without any. I guess how was she supposed
foresight.
to know? How would
Yeah.
she know? She was making what was best for her. But I think that's because I think I'm more, I met you. I don't really have a connection with you enough to feel like so compelled to like be sad about what's going on.
Yeah,
the
that's
fact that
how-
he's dying.
Yeah,
It sucks
I get that.
in the sense of like anybody
Right.
that
So-
that I've met or that I know a little bit gets cancer and they die. That sucks. That's sad.
yeah,
But I don't see him necessarily like that's my dad. I
Right.
don't see that.
So after
it's more a label than
After hearing
that.
Eddie's point, I'm wondering now, are you subconsciously maybe, are you avoiding the situation to avoid the emotions that come with it?
that's part of it because
It's easier to just shut off, right? Like,
because if I did go with those emotions my entire life, who knows where I could have been, absent parents, that can lead to a whole bunch of bad things, you know what I mean? Especially for the people that don't know how to handle that. So for me to kind of find a way for me to hold that, keep that to myself, numb myself to that, and carry on with life. That's a survival tactic. That's I carry that with everything I do. I might work extra hard on something because deep down I might know like, hey, I am worthy of something. I am worth something. You're missing out on this. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, maybe that is, part of, what fuels me on certain things. Fuck, But hiding those emotions, I guess, is what I feel like kept me on the right path, I guess, as opposed to like
you didn't
allowing
you didn't let
myself
those-
to be consumed by them. And
Yeah, exactly.
But
That's what I
here's the
was gonna say.
thing, man. You said it right now. You're hiding those emotions, which means they're not completely gone.
sure.
They are there. So sooner or later, you're gonna have to face those emotions.
I guess my question would be like, what?
to whose benefit?
No, not
know?
just that. Like, what really changes by me saying goodbyes or anything? What?
And it's not even saying goodbye. I personally don't believe it's a goodbye from you. Obviously, reality is it technically is a goodbye because he has a time clock that's running down, right? So he has a physical time clock that's running down that is technically a goodbye, but I think it's more so closure for you. You've had these emotions, you've had these feelings, and like you said, you've been hiding them for your entire life so they don't consume you and they don't take over any decisions you've made, and you don't make any decision in life based off those emotions. But at the end of the day, they're still there.
Sure.
If you would have said, I've never had these feelings, they're just, I've never had them. They've never been there. So how can I miss something I don't have? You're not saying that. You're saying I've hid these emotions, so they
Right.
don't affect me.
Well, right.
You
Well,
know, and I feel like there's only so much suppressing you can do.
yeah.
There's only so much hiding you can do for so long. Like I said, I feel like sooner or later, you will have to face these emotions. You know,
Maybe. Yeah.
who knows? Elias and Juju can grow up and then ask you about their grandpa. They can ask you what happened to him. Why didn't you say bye?
Right.
You know, genuine questions, bro, that these kids are gonna ask you, bro, because they're curious and these are valid questions, you know, and you might not feel the same then than you do now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, what people have been telling you about you might regret this later, I believe that to be 100% true. You might. I'm not saying you will regret this, but you might. There is a possibility that at 45 and not 35, you might feel differently.
Maybe.
At 55, you'll have grown sons with maybe their own families. And looking back at everything, I don't know. You could regret it. You could regret it and be like, man, I probably should have gone.
There's no questions that you would want to ask him, or like,
I don't think so. I mean, all this, you know,
You would want to ask him, like, bro, why didn't you take the opening I gave you?
well, my little brother asked that. And he pretty much just like,
Bullshit answer.
there was no real answer. Like, it was just kind of like, what was it? It was something along the lines of, fuck, what did Chris say? It was just something along the lines of, I didn't know if you guys, you know, wanted me, you know, around or needed me or anything. It was just very like a nonchalant, like,
The man sounds very confused.
of course he is. I
The
mean,
man sounds very confused and very unsure and insecure of whatever decision he should have or could have made.
I mean, I know I had cancer and I was dealing with that and I didn't tell anybody. You know what I mean? And so if his dad was finding this out around the time that they were trying to contact him.
no, this was last September or no, this January he found out.
Oh, that's it.
He found out this January,
And it's
and then
aggressive,
last
apparently,
September
because
he
now-
found out. I guess he was diabetic, type 2, and then he started feeling, you know, his health started tanking, and then eventually they pinpointed the fact that, you know, pancreatic cancer with X amount of time left. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah. It wasn't something that I'm sure he was expecting,
Right.
Since
Okay,
that he
well,
knew about that
yeah.
long.
Then never mind. There goes my point. You just proved it wrong.
Can I
So-
encourage you to do something? I don't have the answers. We all don't have the answers. If I can encourage you in anything, son, is pray on it. I honestly and wholeheartedly believe that the only one that has the answer for you and that can nudge you in the right direction is God and the Holy Spirit. And I feel like if you just have an honest conversation with him and just ask him to just give you some clarity,
Really
and
think about it.
give you some guidance, and ask for a sign if you need to on what it is you should do. I wholeheartedly believe he will give it to you. Because again, just the fact that you have some sort of guilt feeling, the emotions you have about this, to me, it's a clear indication, like I said earlier, that there is something there that although you've been very, very good at hiding the last 35 years of your life, it's still there.
Sure.
You know, and whether you need to go there and just unload those feelings so you can stop carrying them, or if there's a question that maybe you really need to think about and ask him. I'm not sure how much value that conversation is going to have, but I personally believe that after that, there is absolutely nothing else you can do because this time is running out. Just knowing that you were the bigger man by making the effort that he couldn't make or he chose not to make, you made, and being the bigger man by doing that and leaving nothing on the table. Leaving nothing on the table, just laying it all out and just getting that burden off you, man. Because it might feel light now. It might been you might have effortlessly hit it for all these years. But man, those burdens can get heavy over time.
Right.
You know, and I'm just saying, something to think about. Something your kids might ask you 10, 15, 20 years from now. But yeah, man, if you're unsure about it now, but there is something kind of like poking or pulling on your heartstrings a little bit, no matter how lightly it might feel. But just the fact that there's something there, I say pray on it and just see what, you know, if God puts it in your heart to want to go and make that effort and see him, then great. But if not, then you can leave it be.
Fair.
But I encourage you, man, just to pray on it. I encourage everyone to whatever doubt, whatever uncertainty they may be feeling, just pray on it, man. Honestly, you pray, you believe, and then you receive.
Right.
I see your point. I see what you're saying, and it's hard, man.
Right.
I you gave him an opportunity to show you who he is.
Right.
He's not a different person. He's just dying now.
That's how I kind of feel about
You're
that.
still a piece. If you were a piece of shit then, before cancer, now that you got cancer, now that you told everybody about me, I'm supposed to look at you different. And then if you do go talk to him, what are you gonna? If you unload all those emotions, you're gonna go yell at a guy who's dying. That's how I would. That's how I would feel.
Well, that's kind of where I'm at.
Right. Like
The hard part is me. It's the unknown in the future, and that's the only part of the equation that's making me feel not 100%. I'm pretty much in line with how you're talking about it.
Yeah.
That's basically how I feel about it. I just have that. Well, like, should I be feeling more bad than what I feel? And I you know, someone's dying, and he's technically my biological.
But like,
dad.
what's the there's no bridge to burn because there was never a bridge built, kind of thing.
And I don't
like,
have any questions. Like I feel like my questions have been answered through inaction.
that's how.
Well, let me.
How I feel. Like
hold on. Let me be very clear on something. Everything I'm encouraging you to do, is not for him.
For sure. No, yeah.
No,
It's not for him.
for sure. I get what
It's
you're saying.
100% for you.
Yeah, so you can get
The
clarity.
possibility of how you may be, how you may feel about this 15, 20 years from now is thinking about you.
Future me.
You know what I'm saying? Unloading whatever it is you may need to unload on him. Yes, I get it. You know, it's kind of silly or ridiculous to think that you're going to go up there and yell at a dying man. But bro, if that's what needs to happen, you have absolutely nothing to lose,
Right.
and everything to gain, by just unloading, and just sharing whatever it's on your heart with him. And again, and I can't stress this enough, it's not for him, it's for you.
Right.
You know, so I would say selfishly go up there and get some closure for yourself. Get some answers, get some closure,
it's kind of like
just
one
do
of
it
the,
for you.
Yeah, it's
He already got closure. He showed him who he is. The closure was by you not. You decided not to be in my life. I gave you the opportunity. I
Right.
told you what to do.
But
If you want to be in my life, here's all you got to do.
But there isn't closure because it's still messing with him.
I don't think it's messing. I think what's messing. I think what got McCall emotional was talking about how his mom's rolling it.
Right. And not getting
I
that
haven't seen an
opportunity and
emotional
having
part.
that decision be
How
made
did you
for
find
him.
that out?
I just got a text while we were recording
From who?
from Chris.
Maybe it. If my birth mom was it something, well, I was to find out she was dying. I gave you opportunities to be. Actually, I don't know if I did. You showed me you're still doing the same shit you were doing that caused you to lose me,
Right.
another kid. And then,
Right.
like you're still doing the same thing, and now that you got your life together, you want to be involved in my life, or no?
Right.
Fuck you. Like that pain of feeling like it's abandonment. You abandoned me. I wasn't good enough
Right.
for you.
Right. Right.
So
right.
why do I got to be?
But
like,
here's the thing, man. You're dealing with that. Not
Yeah.
her. You're dealing with that.
but
And it still makes you feel some type of way about it because
but I
it's
have
just the
nothing
way you
good
speak
I have
about
nothing good to say about her.
And you
that
know
book
what?
is closed. It's
And you
done
know
for
what?
me.
And you may never have to have a relationship with her.
Yeah.
That's valid. But I honestly feel like you do also have feelings and emotions towards her.
So if you want to, I don't know if you want to
That-
say it, but
I'll go off.
that
What
you,
said.
I don't know, man. You may need to work out. You may need to let go as well.
show Eddie.
You know, it's valid.
Do you want me to
that
read
you
it?
feel like you don't want a
No, just
relationship
show-
with
it's a
her.
lot to
I
read.
get it.
Yeah.
But if you did, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that either.
Right. And I don't know
And
necessarily.
you guys are hurt. I believe me. I get it. You guys are hurt. And again, man, it just you guys have seen the transformation in me, right?
Mhm.
You guys can all agree that there is something different about me now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't carry these burdens by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly can't. I'm not meant to carry them by myself. My faith tells me to leave it all at the feet of the cross. All my worries, doubts, insecurities, everything, just leave it at the feet of the cross. And although I don't always do that, and I have to pray on it over and over and over again, eventually that is the solution to a lot of the stuff that I've carried before and that I carry now. And I have to remind myself to just let it, just give it to God. That's just me personally, right? That's just where I'm coming from.
And it worked for you.
And that's what I'm saying. It worked for me. I am a testimony of what God can do for you. And I encourage you guys to pray on it. You may be dealing with that with therapy, and that's great. That's great, and that's a start. You are ultimately dealing with it some way. You know? So there is stuff there. And I don't know. All this stuff that you're going to therapy for could be all rooted to how you feel about her. Could be all rooted to your anger, your
your
the spirit
inability
of
to
abandonment
accept love
that you
know,
have.
like-
Yeah, I mean, I've figured that out through therapy already.
Right.
It's all rooted in that.
Like,
but
I'm
I
gonna read this now.
I guess not to.
Yeah.
I guess.
Oh, my bad. I was in the react.
No, it's fine. But I guess, I appreciate everybody's, honest thoughts and opinion to help me out with it. I don't know where I honestly land on it still. I if I had to guess, I'm probably not going to go and do anything about it and deal with the consequences later. I've made it this far without it. I have not been able to identify or see how that would benefit me by going. Well, maybe that changes, and I'll definitely let you guys know if what happens.
The benefit, I think, of this is that you and I have learned that both of us were very isolated and weren't very we were alone a lot. And so we've learned in the last week that we don't ever have to be alone again because we have each other. So I'm grateful that you're not like your dad,
Yeah.
for selfish reasons, I'm sure, but you're doing a great job. So
Thank you. Well,
you're doing a great job of being the opposite, and not only being the opposite, but being like super involved and, making sure that you're raising good people. And so,
Well, shit.
great job. babe.
Ultimately, bro, whatever you decide to do, I support you.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
tough
of
decision.
course.
You guys
Yeah.
all would.
100%.
I'm sure you
Tough
guys all
decision,
would.
yeah.
Right.
100%. Man. Whatever you do, this is your situation. This is your walk right now. But just know that whenever you need it, you can lean on us.
For sure.
Right.
And we are definitely here, man,
I don't think
to
there's
hear you out.
I don't think there's a wrong answer.
For you,
I don't think so
Right.
either.
Yeah.
I'm just, I just want to be,
Yeah,
I
there's
want-
definitely no right or wrong way to
Right,
go about this.
right.
It's just
Yeah.
whatever's
Right.
on your
It's
heart.
worrying about future Mikhail, making sure that, present Mikhail makes good decisions for future Mikhail.
right.
Part of that, before I get too segued, because I don't want to just dwell on this.
Forever.
Yeah.